Since the 180-day countdown elapsed, the priority has been to extend water supply to other parts of Enugu State, Nigeria. Now, with people growing more curious about when and if this is going to happen, on the program today, these questions are going to be answered. This is Enugu Kwenu on Afia Television. I am Nathalie Uko. Welcome to Enugu Kwenu on Afia Television. Good evening if you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, GoTV, DSTV, on every platform. Good evening to you and thank you for being part of the show today. On the program today, we are being joined by the Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Dr. Felix Nnamani, to shed more light on all of these developments. Thank you for being here today and good evening, sir.
Thank you and good evening, Enugu people.
So it's been a long one, 180 days, and now we are here. So many questions, so many things that we want to know. But let's start with, we're looking at beyond 180 days. What are the highlights and milestones that the government has accomplished since the 180 days elapsed?
Well, you can see it yourself if you go on the streets of Enugu, where based on the reticulation lines, they are excavating all the asbestos, old asbestos pipes, and then changing them with ductile pipes. Okay, so that's under maintenance of all the points.
In terms of generation capacity, can you give us an approximate value of how many cubic meters are being generated currently?
We have 70 million from 9 Mile, 70 million liters from 9 Mile project.
How is that being sustained?
It's been there. It's been evacuated, it's been sustained, and then it's been used by Enugu people. They keep pumping from there on a daily basis.
Let's look at the people factor. Now, remember when you were on the show earlier, we talked about the fact that for this piping or reticulation to be done, that there might be some mild discomfort. Perhaps some stalls will be affected, some houses. Tell us the extent of the damage.
Well, we've been able to redesign to be able to pass through some of the permanent structures that you cannot demolish. Okay, so as to get the line straight and then reticulate to some of the areas. So
you're saying that no house, no property was affected in the course of reticulating, or even the road constructions? How are you? Road
construction is, I told you there's a partnership between the Ministry of Water Resources and then the Ministry of Works. The idea is that they are doing the roads, they give us our line, they dig the line for us, and then we lay our pipes, so that the idea of after asphalting a road and then you begin to dig again for pipelines does not arise.
Okay, so
it's a teamwork between the Ministry of Water Resources and then Works.
Well, when it comes to the reticulation, what we're seeing, like you said, as we may observe, we're seeing lots of pipes, by the roadside, by what look like drainages. And we're wondering, is there some kind of delay? Because people are getting more anxious and more expectant of this water. So why are we seeing the holes being dug, the drainages being dug, but we're seeing the pipes just being placed to one side? Let's know more about the timeline for execution of this reticulation.
Well, if you listen to the instruction from the Commissioner for Works, he's directed all the engineers, the contractors that are doing all the roads to make sure that they wrap up first phase before the end of, I think they have in a few days.
No, not even the roads. I'm talking about the pipes.
It's the same thing. I told you there's a partnership between Ministry of Works and Water Resources. The idea is that they dig our hole for our pipelines to be laid. Do you understand? So both of them is a complete package. So the issue is that while we are laying our pipe, we could see our pipes by the side of the gullets already dug and it's been laid. Most of them have been laid down now and then joined accordingly.
So if, for instance, the ultimatum exhausts and then the pipes are not being laid because clearly the contractors have not been able to make good of the contract, what is the sanction we're looking at?
Well, it's the Commissioner for Works that's in the position to handle that because he's within the purview of his job.
Okay, so just for clarity, what you're saying is the reason for the delay can be linked to the people that are actually in charge of the road, the Ministry of Works. Because if they're not able to dig all the holes needed for the pipes, then the Water Corporation cannot even continue. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, it's partly that way, but all the same, you know that in the course of also digging the holes, part of some of our pipes are also destroyed. I don't know if you get a point. So it takes, once the thing is tampered with at this point, our people, our engineers goes there to fix them, and it happens on the other side, and then they goes there to fix it. So it's a continuum.
Okay, so let's look at the kind of support that residents are giving to the current administration when it comes to water. Roads aside, water. How would you rate the kind of support, and why do you have this stance on it?
Well, water is of importance. It's about life. Water is life. Everybody expects that you should have water. You know how it feels if you wake up in the morning and you're on your tap and the thing runs. So the kind of support we're getting from Enugu people, a lot of people are appreciating that the government took it. Governor Mbah took it head on, even before he was sworn in as governor, in line with his promise to Enugu people. And then he has not reneged even a bit. He's still committed to it.
Some people have said that, they have not yet seen the water. And that is, we have people that are supportive and they're happy. But there are other groups that are saying that they've not seen the water. And a third group saying that they see the water, but then it appears to be epileptic. It comes and then it goes. So that has made them apprehensive. They want it to flow, and they want it to flow without stopping. So we've looked at people that are very supportive, that have okayed it and said that, yes, we've seen the water. What about those in the middle and those that have not yet seen at all?
Yes, for those who said that they have not seen, it's a gradual process. For instance, water is already at 9 Mile. When it's evacuated, it goes to the twin tank at the New Market, and it's recirculated down to Enugu Metropolis. Along the line, and if there are obstructions, naturally, like 2 days ago in New Haven, you saw the heavy volume of water that was just pouring, wasting. Yesterday, I was going for a function at Nike Lake Hotel. By the end of the bridge at Transekulu, there's volume of water there just pouring and wasting. It took several hours. I had to do a video and then send to the engineers in the water corporation. So when you have those natural occurrences that there are disruptions along the pipelines, it's natural that people are patient until, because, okay, look at the other Saturday, they pumped water. The water was to go up that upper Chime. But by Intachiosa, there was a leakage. And the thing was wasting throughout Friday, through Saturday, up till Monday, before we came back to work and then begin to tackle it. So there are obstructions here and there, okay? It's something that everybody should be calm with. But the issue is that the production is done right. We've got the volume of water that is required by Enugu people, okay? So now that the construction is going on and then the lines are faced frontally, everybody should just be patient because we're going to get there.
So, patience has I don't want to put a time value to it, but it's only so long that people can be patient before they start to believe that it's not going to happen, if it's even going to happen. So is there some kind of, how we had the very specific 180-day timeline for water?
Yes.
The 24/7 Nightman Water Scheme was successfully concluded, but now we're looking at reticulation.
Yes.
And it would really mean a lot to some people if they know that between this time and this time, this is going to be completed, so they can relax and say, okay, we're looking onto it. Is there going to be a time when the government will give a timeline to this?
His Excellency is determined to make sure that some of the road already flagged off are commissioned even before the rainy season. That's why he's handling them all head on. I don't know if you get a point. And if that is the case, we know that we're looking at considering by and by, the approvals that is already granted, that before the rain comes, everybody should be able to have water.
Very important.
As long as the routes are also completely done.
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely. So let's look at something very recent. Recently, the Enugu State government has banned scavenging in the state. They said that no more scavenging, no more cart pushing, that the scavengers should go on and look for how to repurpose themselves and do other things. So now I would like to know if these scavengers in any way obstructed the activities of the water corporation. Were they trying to scavenge metal pipes? To what extent did they get involved, or how much did they sabotage the water project?
They are the problem.
The scavengers?
The scavengers are the problem, and some other individuals also. But the issue is that when it comes to investigations, you don't just draw conclusions until you have facts. You know that what we call the whole valves, if you go to somewhere in Wani, they broke up the valve, and I have a video. If you see it, the volume of water, why are they going to now sabotage? But my worry is that we have Enugu people who are resident in those areas, who have vigilante groups by neighborhoods, who have neighborhood watch, we have meeting groups, we have younger people who reside in these areas. Does it mean that we cannot own a project that is given to us by the government? This attitudinal change is what is the key. So I'm so worried. Okay, you go to the tap galleries that we have. all the head of the pumps, all of them are removed. How can it function that way? How can we? The solar lights that are already plated around them, all of them are removed. You know, what kind of vandalism is that? Broad daylight. And that we have our people, Enugu indigenes, and even neighborhood people. This is where we live. If there's this facility within your neighborhood, the people should come out and own it and then protect it. Okay? So scavengers is a problem. It's not only just about, there was one video that I watched. Somebody said it's my Christmas clothes. One of them had his wheelbarrow and then was wearing somebody's clothes. And the parent was able to identify that this scavenger is wearing my children's clothes I sold for them, they use for Christmas. You know? So it's so disheartening that you make this effort and then our taxpayers' money, the governor is committed and he wants to give life to Enugu people. He wants to frontally confront all the challenges that we have in road network, in water provisions to ensure healthy living. And then you see disgruntled elements going to vandalize them. It's crazy.
I mean, it's
ununderstandable.
The revelation is rather sad, you know, seeing that a lot of that is happening. We're not just looking at the roads, for instance, being destroyed by all the trucks that have now been, for lack of better words, unleashed in Enugu State, but also looking at the galleries having their taps destroyed and some people not taking responsibility for these infrastructure. So what are your expectations when it comes to this? Because it's a serious problem. How can the mindset start to change? How can people be made more responsible of their immediate environment? And there's a conspiracy that comes up when I think of this. Do you believe that opposition could have a role to play in this? Maybe people that do not want to see this water project be a success?
Well, opposition is a thing of the past because now the Supreme Court have declared that His Excellency Dr. Peter Mbah is the governor for Enugu. So there's nothing anybody can do about that. You can only wait for another 4 years. Then if you're qualified, you can run. So the idea of opposition coming to sabotage is neither here nor there for me, okay, my view rather. Okay, so, but I think that, you know that yesterday, 2 days ago, the governor received in audience the immigration chief in Enugu and then the NCDC, the Civil Defense Corps. They all came and they pledged to support our government to see that those vandals are brought to book, that they won't allow it. You know, one thing is for government to take a decision, another thing is those who are responsible to take it up from where the government have started. Okay? We expect that the law enforcement agencies, for instance, those scavengers, they should be seen on the road. Police should be able to swap in, impound those things and make sure that they keep them off the road. Okay? Those other people that, you know, there are security networks. I'm not a security person, but I know that the NCDC, they've been doing their best. Now that they have a new boss and they paid custody on the governor, they should be able to take the bull by the horn by seeing that their men are posted across some of these areas to be able to protect these, you know, these facilities. It's for everybody's good.
I would like to ask this very important question, and this is something we've been asking whenever we discuss scavenging in the States. Is there a possibility of these scavengers being repurposed, perhaps made part of the task force to monitor pipeline vandalism in the state?
Pardon?
Can these scavengers be repurposed to perhaps join some kind of task force to monitor pipeline vandalism in the state?
And those people, they are not in any other business. They are not interested in any other business. They just go about stealing things and making life difficult for people. Anything they see, it's not just about scavenge. They scavenge virtually everything. You know, so when you talk about somebody coming to take a trade or learn apprenticeship or something, no, it's not for them. They want quick money.
So if now they are taken off the streets and then they decide to go into full-blown armed robbery, full-blown theft, wouldn't it be worse?
Let them go. Let the law enforcement agencies take them in. If you go into full-blown armed robbery because you are stopped from scavenging. I mean, in fact, the NCDC should also go for those who are buying those scavenged products, like those aluminiums, those ions. A lot of people, they carry their trailers and then pack them together before they evacuated or take them away from Enugu. They should go for those who are patronizing them too. So that if you close the link, then these other people will have to go and then...
Are you saying there's no hope for skill acquisition?
There is hope. Why not?
So what is there any plan at all for the scavengers?
Yes, if they want to get integrated, yes. The SMCs are doing a lot in skill acquisition. The Commissioner for Science Innovation is also on tech programs in favor to lift people out of poverty. But these scavengers are not that kind of set of people.
All right, for fear of speaking on general terms, you know, we have certain groups of people that perhaps would perpetuate certain crimes. And then we cannot generalize that everybody would also perpetuate that same crime. So are we judging all the scavengers in the state for the actions of a subset in that group of scavengers? Are we generalizing and perhaps making people who are already poverty-stricken lose the opportunity of even being something better?
You know what? The state government is already, if you are going to 9 Mile now, the area that you have waste dump is already cordoned up, okay? The government want to recycle those, okay, for maybe agricultural purposes and then for smelting company and for all that, you have to generate manure and all that. So if you know you are scavenging and you want a legit job, why don't you just go there and apply so that you can fit into one of those areas that government is providing? Do you understand? Instead of just going around stealing everything. Instead of just going around stealing everything, go there, do a job, sort the plastics, help them. If you want the department of plastic, you sort it. If you want the department of manure production like fertilizer, that's the intention of government, okay? So that if it's melting iron, then you join the company that is doing that.
But then there's a problem also that we have to look at. The fact that there are already people who are probably employed for this. Are we going to have like hundreds of thousands of scavengers trying to get into this job? How many of them can be taken on at a go?
No, well, as long as they are ready to work, I think that industry is another area that government is looking at to be able to create this kind of baseline jobs. Okay?
All right.
It will take a whole lot of people.
We'll leave it at that. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we're delving into matters arising at the Enugu State Water Corporation, and of course, getting more insights on all of it. You're still watching Enugu Kwenu here on Afia Television. Don't go anywhere. We'll return shortly. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Enugu Kwenu here on Afia Television, and we're still with the Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Dr. Felix Nnamani. And like I said before the break, we're going to be delving into matters arising at the Enugu State Water Corporation that appears to have shocked a lot of residents. I would like to throw this to you. Recent reports have revealed that the governor has sacked more than 20 water corporation workers for failing to meet his 50 million naira monthly target. Could you please elaborate more about what's happened and what informed this decision that was taken at the end of the day?
Well, I just read it the way you read it. Okay, there is no official communication to my table as regards this. I read it online, and then none of the affected staff have written any letter to me or addressed any of these issues to me, so that I will know what has happened. And besides, there is an SA to His Excellency on Water and Sanitation, who is Andreas Giba, you know, so he's in a right position to throw more light.
Yes, definitely. I did reach out, but he's not available at the moment for any interview. So right now there is a gap which can be filled with speculation. Because the thing is, things like this happen and they're big stories. If someone doesn't comment on it, then it's possible that speculations will fill the gap and we can start to fester yet another media crisis that we do not know. So it would be great to hear something that would actually help us fill in that gap to avoid having speculations here and there. So because you've not heard anything from any of the workers that was sacked, I will just try to read out one here. Now, one of the affected staff who faulted the termination of their appointment said he had worked at the corporation for as long as 35 years and had never been issued a query. Now, he was also talking about the civil service rules and general terms of employment, saying that how could he be terminated when this is actually a breach of what he called the civil service rules and the terms of contract. So let's look at the feelings that this 35-year-old might be going through. Perhaps you can elaborate on if this inability to meet the target could have justified his expulsion from the Water Corporation.
Well, the time will tell, but you know, I was also a public servant before, you know, my appointment as commissioner. I used to work in the state university. I used to teach in the Department of Political Science. So there's a civil service rule, and there is a head of service in Enugu State. So if somebody is not If somebody's termination of appointment is irregular with the practice, there are channels for public servants to engage government to air their views or, demand for what is right for them. Okay, the head of service is there who looks at the terms of conditions for which they were engaged have been issued. Okay, so they know the channels. But if they write, a letter to us, confirming that they actually engaged, because I can't speculate at this point. Okay, if they write a letter to us and we are balanced, okay, we know the appropriate authorities to be able to report to. Even His Excellency, okay, I'm there. He put me there as the Commissioner for Water Resources, and my ministry oversees agencies like Water Corporation, MDAs like Water Corporation, NRUWASA, and ESTOWA. So in this present circumstance now, there are procedures, okay? So let them, what they should do is getting it right, letting us know, and then we'll take it from there. Even if they don't let us know, they can also write to His Excellency that look at what has happened in the Water Corporation.
All right.
But also, the issue of revenue generation is important.
Exactly.
There is no free meal anywhere, okay? The government have invested huge sums of money to be able to get this water thing resolved, okay? So everybody should also play by the rule to be able to. They growing the economy of Enugu from 4.4 to 30 billion US dollars is not a child's play. It's reality.
Exactly. So, that is exactly why I want to.
So if they give somebody responsibility or give you a target, okay, it's not something you come to the public domain, okay? It's something that you handle administratively, be it as it is. So I don't know the details, but the issue is that if they do a letter, the head of service is there, who is the chief. There are permanent secretaries also who are there, who will look at the conditions of service and then be able to do justice to it.
All right, so are you saying that before the staff were terminated, you had no inclination that this decision was taken?
Exactly.
You were not informed?
I was not informed in any way, yes.
All right, so let's now look at that. You talked about the target, and for clarity's sake, the target was 50, in fact, it is still 50 million naira monthly. Now, the aggrieved staff member who was sacked said that due to billing issues, he said that the government had said that it should start issuing a temporary billing slip. And some Enugu residents saw that temporary billing slip as fake, and they said that they were trying to defraud them of their money because they were not used to seeing that temporary slip. So he was basically saying that how did the governor expect him or even people in his own group to raise money when the people that were benefiting from the water corporation were not agreeing to pay as a result of the permanent or the old slip that was now changed to the temporary slip. Now, I would like to know if this context was taken into consideration before that decision was made.
Well, you already asked me whether I was in the know before this decision was taken, and I said I'm not there.
In terms of the billing issues, did you ever know that it was difficult for them to get customers to pay for water because they did not trust, according to him, did not trust the billing slip?
No, but it shouldn't arise. This is one-sided story. I don't want to jump into it, okay? They're just making their own case, okay? And somebody is there who is supervising person, who is the SA to the governor, who is in a position to let us know what has happened, okay? So how the conditions they were given or the targets they were given, do you understand? It's an internal thing within the Water Corporation. And there is a rule that guides public servants, okay? There are things you don't come to public domain, okay, until it gets to, it gets to a point that people should be able to know it, okay?
Okay,
so
within a party, they said that people have different leadership values, different leadership strategies.
Yes.
So you as a person, you as Dr. Felix, would you have taken this action? Would you have sacked 20 staff members if they failed to meet a target?
I will sack people who have done 35 years outrightly. There are regulations, but that's out of the context of what we're discussing. I'm just saying my mind, okay? If somebody in the Ministry of Water Resources are there are disciplinary measures. You set up a disciplinary committee to whip into line an erring officer, public servant. Outright sacking does not arise. It's the last measure, administratively.
Okay, so let's look at what was actually done. They were outrightly sacked. Fortunately or unfortunately, I can't say anything about that. They were sacked. Could this have been, let's try to get into the mind of the SPA, Mr. Andreas Gibawa, could this have been an attempt to make other people sit up and meet this target? Could this have been deliberate to say, yes, it doesn't matter how long you've served, if you've not been productive, we're going to drop the hammer?
It could be. But he's going to be in a position to answer that when he's back. He's not going to stay away for quite a long time. He's totally engaged by the Enugu State government. Okay?
Definitely. We've already reached out to him, so hopefully we get his comments on that. Now, speaking about the 50 million naira monthly target, we're not going to delve into the staff that were sacked any longer, but one thing we would take is that they found it difficult to raise this money, particularly because of the delays, like we've talked about, that people are still waiting to get water. From an advisory perspective, how can staff meet up with the 50 million naira monthly target? How can they make good of this target? How can they achieve it, considering the current economic challenges?
It's not about economic challenges. It's about them doing the right thing. It has an administrative undertone. For the Water Corporation, the staff of Water Corporation, to go back to drawing board, strategize on how, because there's a following one-sided report. You know, we're just discussing one-sided now. It's not comprehensive because Andreas have not given his own part of the story. So going by what they are saying, naturally, if strategy in order to get 50 million, is not working out the way that is expected, they go back to drawing board and be able to strategize. But the one thing that is key there is that the water is already available, okay? So the metering and then the modus operandi for them to be able to get our people to buy into it and then have this water and pay. Nobody in Enugu will want to use water without paying for it. I don't think Enugu is an apex metropolitan area, okay? I think that people want to pay for what they consume once the right steps are taken or right approaches are done.
All right, we have gone through a lot on the show, and we started with progress since 180 days, and we said that lots of reticulation is being delayed by the road constructions. In fact, the contractors generally that have been charged with the responsibility of fulfilling this digging of the drain and all that for the pipes to go through for proper reticulation. With all this happening, bringing it back to them meeting this 50 million naira monthly targets, how would they approach customers that are yet to be properly connected to the water that already exists in the state, that the governor has done so well to achieve for Enugu residents? How can they approach them and say, pay for water?
No, a lot of residents of Enugu have this access to water. Let us not say that a lot of residents, a lot of areas in Enugu is already covered.
In terms of the billing issues?
In terms of the billing issues. So those that have water already should be able to pay. Those that naturally you see that their lines are being repaired or fixed, okay? Okay, so there are human face to it.
Yes, so now that being said, people have seen water.
Correct.
Some people are enjoying water.
Exactly.
We've seen it, right? Now, another issue was that of billing, that the temporary bill was not accepted by Enugu residents. They thought that this was an attempt by staff of the corporation to defraud them because they were not used to seeing that kind of bill. So yes, people would have been willing to pay, but they would not have trusted the bill that they were given because of the format and things that had changed. It didn't look authentic according to them. I would like us to just see the challenge as it is. So yes, the people are there, they have faces.
Yes.
But what about the acceptance of the people that are supposed to bring that money, which is a very important relationship?
It is quite important to the government to be able to recoup the investment already done, okay? But the issue is that I don't have the bill as we're talking. I don't know what is being billed. I don't know if you get the point. So if the SA to the governor on water is here, you'll be able to clarify issues on the modus operandi, on how these bills, how they arrive at whatever bill they are given to individuals and all that, okay? But what I'm saying is that there is a balance now. We should strike a balance for the water corporation to go back. If the corporation sent you on errand to go and then distribute these bills and you have a challenge that people don't accept it, is administratively for you to come back and then say that this is the experience you have encountered out there, okay? So the management will now look at it and then be able to provide solutions.
What you're saying now is that there was no feedback.
I don't think there's any feedback for now. Because if there were feedbacks now, the outright the termination of appointment wouldn't have arisen. Well, I'm not judging because I told you, I have no brief, I have no official brief from what has happened, okay?
Well, definitely we'll try to get the SPA to comment on that. But now let's look at the ministries in the state generally. And of course, we focus on the water ministry. Now, unconfirmed reports suggest that the government has not been too generous with the ministries in the state, but has instead asked them to go and seek investors. How accurate is this report?
These Nigerians, we are full of speculations. How can somebody draw such conclusions? Do you know, as soon as His Excellency was sworn in, he was first to organize a roundtable, business roundtable. He is the one that actually invited all the conglomeration of, even Afri-Exim Bank or World Bank and all these partners to come to Enugu. Investors, he is the one. So how can now somebody now say, allege, that His Excellency is now asking ministries or commissioners to go and get investors? What is wrong with that? PPP, every government is depending on a public partnership now. It's in vogue. I don't know if you get a point. So, but His Excellency is quite committed to making sure that right people come to Enugu. It's open, it's enabled, the business enabling environment is created for Enugu so that there's security, you know that? He first of all tackled insecurity in Enugu. First of all, stop the sit at home on Mondays to enable people come here to invest. And then the environment is now right for everybody to come and invest. And why are they bringing sentiment about who? Okay. Every commissioner should be able to even go out there and then get investors. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let me clarify on that question. Yes. In terms of generosity, we've seen administrations that have preceded this administration that basically immediately the tenure starts, they buy flashy cars for their commissioners. They do so much. I mean, I don't know the welfare package. I'm not a commissioner, right?
Yes.
But visually, you see the commissioners living a luxury, a lavish life. But that's not something that we have observed currently. So that is what I'm trying to gain clarity on.
Yes.
When I say too generous,
yes.
Is that an accurate report that he is withholding all of those luxuries and saying, hey, go out there, go and get investors?
No. I don't want to agree with you that he's going to go out there, go and get investors. He's the one that have brought investors, and then we were asked now to speak to them. We had the opportunity, a platform to speak to them so that they can buy into what you have in your ministry. Okay? Having said that, His Excellency is somebody that is committed to Enugu. He's so silent an achiever. He's not looking at even his own vehicles. You are talking about our own vehicles, flashy cars and all those things. What about his own vehicle? Did he acquire any? SFG, our own secretary to government, is still using his own personal Mercedes car. Chief of staff, everybody. So we're making sacrifices to ensure that Enugu moves forward. Nobody is here for that kind of luxury anymore. We're here to make sure. Look at the question, you asked him question during the commissioning of the water project in 9 Mile. And then one of you people said, Your Excellency, how are you able to generate the resources that you're able to put here to achieve this? He said it's from IGR. That is done from the entire generated revenue within Enugu.
So are you saying now, just because of time, are you saying that the governor is cutting down on flamboyant expenses that perhaps his predecessors would have showered on the various ministries in the state? I would like to know if this report holds any water. Is he being careful with the state funds? How generous is he being when it comes to giving funds to the ministries in the state with a focus on yours?
If you apply for anything genuine, His Excellency gives consent to it. Our salaries are come, our overheads are there, as at when due. I don't know if you get a point. You have any legit thing, you have a function, you have a workshop, you have any seminar to attend, he approves it immediately. There is nothing legit that you bring before His Excellency that he doesn't get his assent. That won't give it to him. But the issue is that he wants to deliver. He's in a haste to deliver. And because of his ambition, humongous ambition, he wants to carry everything and make sure that Enugu is like America. If it's possible for him to carry here to America now, he will do it this evening. So everybody understand the passion. It's not in any way negligence. It's not in any way punishment. But war also are challenged too. Because if a young man that is accomplished of his caliber and status can come to undertake to be able to serve the state, and then he's cutting down everything to make sure that the state, well, everybody should be proud of it.
So is he truly cutting down everything?
He's cutting down good and
so
channeling it right.
No luxuries?
No luxury. That's no luxury. That's no luxury whatsoever.
On that note, we'll take our final break on Enugu Kwenu. The program returns shortly. Don't move an inch. Thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching Enugu Kwenu here on Afia Television, and we're still with the Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Dr. Felix Nnamani. Having addressed the spending of the governor when it comes to ministries, we're moving away to, well, something that is also very important. Like you said and established earlier, what is happening now is reticulation, and people should be patient. People should wait. The water would come. Can you just give us a broad overview of all the challenges being faced now when it comes to reticulating, so that people know what the current administration is up against?
Well, the only, you see, I've said it time with that number. The production at the 9 Mile is correctly done. Production at Uji River is also correctly done. So we'll have 70 million in 9 Mile, we'll have another 50 million in Uji. Okay? So now reticulation is ongoing, within the state, especially within the state, okay? There's going to be another second line that will come from Oji to Enugu again to be able to, convey what is produced in favor of Enugu people. So, but within Enugu Urban, you see, the road constructions as they are going on, the pipes are being laid. It's simultaneously going on everywhere. The man is not living, His Excellency is not living anywhere. He's just making sure that the things comes together, full package. Okay? And I do believe that what he's doing is, my mindset is about that the roads must be completed before the rain starts. Okay? So we know that before the rain starts, first phase of this, all this would have passed. By the time the rain ends and then we'll go to dry season again, by the end of the year, everybody should be, these things will be a story. And then it would have streamlined all these, as all our worries.
Would you consider pace of the contractors a challenge?
Yes, because considering the timeline that is given to them, considering the warning from the Commissioner for Works, you see is there barely a few days to go. And then if you go to areas in Abakba, even the Transekulu Bridge, okay, it's script. Yesterday we went for a workshop at Nikele. It was difficult to really come back to Enugu. We tried all the way through RCC and came back again and came back to Abakpa Junction before we were able to get it. It took not less than 2 hours. It's quite excruciating. And then again, I would advise that the Route Safety Corps, okay, those Ministry of Transport also, can deploy their men towards that Transekulu area, that Transekulu Bridge, and then maybe Pinox and Abakpa Junction, so that there will be a kind of guide for motorists. Is important. Then the job that the Federal Ministry of Works are doing on the express, on the freeway, that is pouring up to Abakpa Junction, okay, it should be coordinated in a way that they can create a buffer, around Transekulu, that there's an alternative, like those who are coming out from Ubodogu. There can be a kind of small buffer for them to, move into Gulf, so that as to ease traffic. Those that are coming from Nowas also, there should be a crossing path where they can join Transekulu Bridge and then or go to Abakpa Junction. Then in Abakpa Junction too, there must be men who organize and control traffic there. It will help ease the traffic congestion and problem we're having.
Okay, now this is the most important question for me. I mean, lots of important questions, but this one ranks number 1.
Okay.
How can people that wants to experience water finally and stop hearing this and that from whoever, how can they get connected to the state power source? And I know you've addressed this before, but for the sake of new audiences just joining us from all around the world, people here in the state, how can they today, what can they do to start experiencing water?
Well, for those in Enugu metropolis, I have said it time and time again, is within the purview and responsibility of the Enugu State Water Corporation, okay, to provide and reticulate water within Enugu metropolis. Okay? So if you have need for your house or your home to be connected, okay, go to Water Corporation. There are designated points there. You make your application and they come and check. Just like if you finish building this house, it's not EEDC that come and wire your house for you. Electricians come here first, put your wires for you, put the bulb for you. Then EEDC will come and connect light. The same thing goes to water. If you have an area that you want water to go to Water Corporation. Yeah, there are designated offices where you can just make your application. They evaluate you and then connect you.
I might be wrong, but I feel that the awareness on this procedure is not being done well enough. Because lots of people I have interacted with on this issue have told me the same thing. Well, there's water, but how can we experience it? So I have to question if the Water Corporation is doing enough to promote or raise awareness. Is the media being engaged? Is the media being engaged enough to let people know, if you want water, come in today, fill this form, come with your BVN, come with this, that, and you can get water running. I would floor the awareness on it.
Okay, please help us. Maybe I'm going to connect Andreas to you so that the PRO of Water Corporation will do more. But I'm aware that a lot of radio jingles and programs are there on the air by the Enugu State Water Corporation in procedures on all these aspects. So if you want water connected to your area or your compound or your home or your factory or your company, go to Water Corporation. There are designated offices there, desk officers who will attend to you. You get their forms complete, they meet the requirements, and you are connected. Then for those in the rural areas, like I told you, while Water Corporation is handling Enugu Metropolis, the rural areas is being handled by the NRUASA, Enugu State Rural Water Supply Agency, okay? So we've already done a survey. His Excellency had already engaged a consortium that did a survey, baseline survey on a water and sanitation facilities in Enugu. So we are being guided now by the outcome of that report, okay? So we've taken inventory of communities that need water or their boreholes not working, and then we are planning now to do a sensitization of water users, water association, producers, and all. You know that a lot of people are using wells. They don't know the implications. A lot of the wells are already contaminated because some of them have the sewages, constructed close to the well. Somebody was asking me yesterday, there's a reservoir after Nike Lake, as if you are going to do Gogo Express, that by Ibagwa. And I discovered through the records that the reservoir was meant to take water from the boreholes done by the state. Incidentally, the boreholes were contaminated by the sewage that somebody went and dug close to it. Now there's this underground infiltration that the water got contaminated. That's why it is sealed. But those who don't know it will say that it's an abandoned project. So that's why it's important that a lot of people don't know. It's after the unveiling of the water law that the awareness, and then we began to know that a lot of things are really not rightly done. Okay, so we are putting up a sensitization now to bring all the water users, borehole owners, well owners, and all that. So we'll have a department that should be able to go around, see those wells that people are using, treat them, check even their quality for human consumption. Okay, and then also check whether it could be treated. Some of them, if they are bad enough, we seal them so that people don't get cholera. Because this cholera epidemic starts when rainy season is about to start.
Definitely.
Then again, some people are using tankers that is not clean enough. Some of them are for industrial purposes. We want to now do a sensitization where you must crest, if it's water tanker for drinking water, it must boldly be written there and we'll give them colors. So, but all these things will come out after our orientation. We're going to call them in 1 week or two now to sensitize them, and then we'll be able to, stand our feet so that if you are dealing with construction companies, that's water for construction, you have a different kind of tanker. If you are doing drinking water, like those who are water producers, water vendors, okay, they have to crest their tankers, and we know them. We're going to number them. We're going to make sure that we know them, okay? So the issue of quality water delivery is important. Treatment. to ensure that quality water is given, not just because government has invested a lot on production, but other areas need to also be handled accordingly.
So what's next?
Next now is that as they are doing the reticulation, by 1 week or two at the ministry level, we'll swing into action to make sure that things are done right in our own sector.
Is there anything you would like to say to Enugu residents and people around the world watching this program?
Well, for His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mbah, congratulations, because you are committed to Enugu people. And for our people, I thank you for supporting this government. Majority of us have seen that Peter is somebody that meant business. He's not saying something he cannot do. He's not giving a fake promise. He's determined to make sure that whatever he says is what he does. Is exemplified by what he has done in the water sector. All we are asking is that it's not a rocket science. While the maintenances are going on, let's be patient and be able to, where everybody will enjoy it. But more importantly, stay away from vandalizing government facility around your neighborhood. It doesn't pay anybody any good. It takes taxpayers' money, and it's for everybody's good. Wherever you are, you stand in. It's your neighborhood. It's where you live and you do your business. And that's where you live to go to school or go to work. So why can't you protect what is provided for you for your own good? Let's protect this water gallery. Let's protect these water facilities that is already, government has spent huge amount of money. And look at the economy. The economy is not laughing at anybody. That's a global economic downturn. I mean, we should be able to preserve what we have because nobody knows where the world is going. It's important that we make use of what we have now. Please, stop people, stop vandalism, support government. That's our plea.
Thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Felix. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Natalie.
A lot more coming your way on Afia Television. After this, you have at Afia TV Official. You also have the Eastern Eye with Alex Obodo at 7 p.m. And don't forget News Tonight with Amazing Grace at 9 p.m. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Afia TV Official. Check out old streams on YouTube at Afia TV. And do well to join us again next week, Wednesday, same time, same station. I remain Nathalie Upu. Thank you for watching.